That's cool.
Good evening, WFL Nation, and welcome everybody to our preseason kickoff. Hello to everybody in the chat. I see Ryan Hunt, Mac Dre, Pasta, Stover, Logan Foster, Noah Underhill also here with me. Kevin Say, Top Kiefer. Welcome everybody. We have a lot of exciting stuff planned this evening. Have an all-star lineup of hosts with me as well. I've got Derek Jinko right below me. There he is.
What's up, everyone?
Emperor Chad, not Kruger, but Roland. Close enough.
Yeah.
And the Quizinator Noah. Guys, this is it. This is it. This is the big episode. This is the kickoff to season 1. This is the moment we've all been working towards, and I couldn't be more excited. They're excited too. That's fine. let me tell everybody a little bit about this episode. We're calling this the Season 1 Kickoff because in just a day or so, Chad is going to start rolling out streams for Week 1. To get us prepped, in this week's episode, we will be finishing our deep dive into the last 3 teams we need to talk about for Season 1. We will be making predictions of all shapes and sizes for the Week 1 matchups. We'll be opening the WFL mailbag for the first time. We will also be presenting our official WFL power rankings and finishing with another round of Noah's super fun, awesome, and semi-erotic prospect pop quiz.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Yeah, I was to say what?
Everybody's thinking it. Everybody's thinking it. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel so you can get with us every week. We would really appreciate it. Guys, you have anything to say before we get started?
I'm really excited to be here again, and it's finally time. I know I've been on pins and needles, just getting ready for this season to start. So I'm very excited to do this show, but then get this show over so we can get to the real show on the field.
No doubt.
Yeah, I'm the same way, right? A lot of work on the back end, as I've done with updates and things like that. But finally, we're here. I feel like it's been too long since we talked about this idea in the beginning, me, Colin, and Dave. So looking forward to finally talking some WFL football.
Yeah, and I'm glad to be back in this little box with you boys, and ready to hand Dave the first L of the season.
Oh man. Well, I'm going to try to fix my volume. I'm getting some feedback in the chat that says I'm a little low. I've tried to increase some things here. Let me know if this has worked. But we're going to go ahead and head into our deep dive. So we have 3 teams left to talk about. Let me see if I can bring up the wheel of randomness.
Ta-da!
All right.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, we've got 3 teams. Let's see what we can do. First team up to talk about. Again, we are talking about strengths, weaknesses, roster development, just our thoughts, and if this team is going to go over or under 500. And this is a team that we need to talk about.
Yes.
Hang on a second. This isn't the right logo, is it, Chad?
What is happening?
I had no idea that was
That
happening.
doesn't look
no
like an
idea.
aviator.
This is the right logo. We've got some things to discuss. We've had a teensy bit of drama with the Dayton Aviators owner, Mac, leaving. So what we have decided to do, we've gotten together, the Emperors and I have, and we have decided to let the team of Dayton figure out their destiny. And they have decided, which I think is a great decision, that they are going to continue as a self-governed, user-driven team for Season 1. And I wish you guys could see the activity that's going on in that locker room. Now that everything rests on their shoulders, it's really rolling, isn't it, Chad?
Yeah, it's actually been one of the more active ones since this has happened. So, very happy to see that from them.
Yeah. So we did decide to change the branding because the branding did belong to the owner of that team. We are going to keep the colors, so we're trying not to change too much. But this team is now going to be known as the Cincinnati Reapers. And pretty cool logo. Yeah, it's a pretty cool logo. So this is still the Dayton of old, but we are going to talk about them as Cincinnati from now on. So guys, take a look at the spreadsheets that you have on hand, what you know they are rostering, and we'll see what we can talk about.
Maybe I should bring that
I'll go ahead and tell everyone what we are looking at here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dayton is rostering a user quarterback in Andre Pope, a user running back in Big Papa Dre, user tight end Nicholas Handles, user defensive end George Reed Jr., and then they also have a two-way player that is both corner and wide receiver in Mac, who was the owner. We're going to leave his build for the sake of this team remaining competitive in season 1.
Yep.
So, what do you guys think about this team?
What order we want to go with?
Whoever wants to start.
We could just go down the line if you want to go first, Chad.
Yeah, sure. The Reapers is an interesting club. Andre Pope being the number 1 overall pick, really has a pretty good skill set. Has some top end speed, right? One of the things that really makes him good is that he is accurate down the field, right? I mean, his deep throw accuracy is at the top end right now. His arm, he's got a lethal arm on him. Pope is one of those guys that just looks really good, especially when you're watching these practices and stuff. And then flipping, on the other side of that, I think a guy that you really have to keep your eye on is Nicholas Handles. Kind of has that mid-range speed, right? Really good with acceleration there. Has some nice break tackle, and then obviously is a above average, close to an elite hands and run routing. And so I think that connection between Pope and Handles could be a very interesting combo for this Reaper offense.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting to see how this works. I mean, obviously losing your coach this close to the start of the year is going to be difficult. And I was excited to see what would happen with Pope because he is so different than everybody else, like all the other quarterbacks submitted, and with putting so much energy into specific areas. So he is like the best at a lot of different places. However, he is going to have places where he struggles. But I think that having those extreme good spots is going to be very, very nice for him if he can be used the correct way. So we'll see what happens with their game plan and whatnot now that they don't have that guy leading the way. But I still have a lot of hope for this team. I think that this definitely we'll see later on where they rank. But they did bring in a couple of veteran players as well. Just to highlight some players that got some points. Bernard Pringley and Jerome Nwosu at linebacker, along with Josiah Walker. Those are all names that could be recognizable. We have in the secondary Tim Miles and LaJordan Daniels at safety, and they brought D'Angelo Moon over to play corner for them as well. So there's some players on this defense that's going to fill it out. And they also brought in Jermaine Andrews, a wide receiver. So with him and Robinson, I think that could be a lethal duo. Robinson being one of the fastest guys. Another one of the fastest guys is Andre Pope. There's only he's tied with a couple other guys. But there's one player that has more speed than Pope. So if he gets out into space, he's going to be just as dangerous as any other offensive weapon. So be very wary of this team for that reason.
Yeah, I think I would agree with what everyone's saying. It's going to be – I think this is a team that you – like you said, it's been – since the change, it's kind of united them. It's kind of lit a fire. And so I don't think it's a team you want to underestimate. Going into the season, I think some people might overlook them and get surprised. I think they do have talent in many places. Obviously, lack of user players on the back end of the defense and in the middle might cause some challenges. But again, I don't think it's going to be anything. It's not going to be something they can't overcome. And I wonder if they're going to catch some opponents by surprise this season.
Yeah. I think that's all good observation. What I'm seeing behind the scenes is a team that could have easily had the wins taken out of their sails with this news. And it almost seems like to me, instead of the wind being taken out of their sails, they have gained more momentum going into season one. That's what I'm seeing, and that's exciting and that's encouraging. Who I'm seeing stepping up the most on this team is first round draft pick Andre Pope. He has stepped up and taken almost ownership of this team. Seems to be organizing things really well, making sure people are staying active. Also, Jay Sean Robinson and running back Big Papa. So all those guys are stepping up, taking ownership together, and I think it's going to be a real exciting thing. But with all that being said, we need to announce that there is 100% going to be an opening for ownership in season 2.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So if that is something you are interested in, then we want to see people start being active in the server. We want to see people getting involved behind the scenes and showing their appreciation for this league. And we want owners that are going to be sticking around, that are going to have the same kind of excitement that we have. And so obviously the previous owner didn't have that, but the league is still moving forward with positive momentum, even with him gone. So I think that's a really positive sign. So the big question here, over or under 500 for Dayton? And I'll start. I'll be the bearer of bad news. I think they've got things stacked against them. Not that I think they're a bad team. I think it's just situational. I'm going to say under 500. Chad?
Yeah, it just depends on everything, right? I mean, obviously this is going to be a vote per week of how they want the game plan and stuff like that, which is great. We'll get to see how that all plays out for the season one. But, I mean, they have the talent to go over, right? I mean, with that offense, with Pope and Dre and Robinson and Handles, they have weapons, right? And even with the, with the player that will have a new name here soon. But with everything they got against them on that, or everything with that offense is really good. The question is going to be the defense, right? The defense is a little not thin, but it doesn't have a lot of user on it. So the question, you have one corner really that's going to be able to progress, and that's really it. But the question is, can that defense hold, right? And if the defense can hold, then yeah, I could definitely see them going over 500. So my pick right now is over, but we'll see.
Noah?
It's again, there's 8 teams in the league. There's only so many of them that are going to go over 500. And when we're talking about like, oh, they could surprise some people, they could jump and get some people, that means we don't expect a lot from them. So right now, with how the things are, I wouldn't be surprised if they go over, but I think the safer bet is to say under for now and hope they prove us wrong. I am really rooting for this team. Being from my home state, technically, even though Cincinnati is pretty much Kentucky, I think that it's a place that like you should be rooting for this team. It's going to be a fun ride for sure, but for right now, we're going to say under.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, not saying I am, or if I'm not, I would go under. But in all actuality, Noah spoke on it earlier. I think this team goes as far as Pope can take them. Not saying it's all on his shoulders, but because he is such a unique build and could present a very unique challenge for opposing teams, I think he's the X factor to determine how many games they win. But again, safer bet is the under.
I like that. Okay. Thank you guys for your thoughts. Let's go ahead and do the next team.
Pottsville.
Under.
No bias coming from Derek. Pottsville. Pottsville is rostering users at, let me find it for you, quarterback Alex Darr, running back DeWeasel Givens,
Yep.
Tight end, Jeff Duffy. Second tight end, Levenier Pinecroft. We have corner, Nadeem Tahir. Did I pronounce that right?
Yep.
Okay. That's Noah's build. And kicker, Charlie Berry, who is also, I believe, working as the two-way player for punter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Here we go.
And then you also have Quick Six, the wide receiver.
That's right. Thank you. I keep skipping over these wide receivers. I'm not sure why. But all right, Derek, I'm going to start with you this time, if that's okay.
I mean, Pottsville is always going to put a competitive product on the field. They have a lot of experience in ownership and coaching, both, IRL and in the sim world. I think it's interesting to see that roster being built out. If I'm not wrong, the only one with two tight ends prior to filling out the thing, two user ones. So it'd be interesting to see what they present. So again, another unique take and a different take on on roster preparation for this. So it'd be interesting to see the product they put on the field. But you can't underestimate them. I talk a lot of crap, and I'll continue to talk until they shut me up. But it has the possibility of being a really quality team.
Noah.
Yeah, no bias here for sure. I think that Pottsville, they're gonna do it the Pottsville way. I'm very excited that I'm actually getting to see it the way that Dave wants to play it, literally going back in time and bringing original Pottsville players through a time machine and giving them some sort of juice to make sure that they gain 100 pounds, that they can play football in today's day and age. But playing Pottsville football, the hard-nosed running football that, they've been able to do a little bit, but this is going to be a lot more. From what I have seen, there's going to be if you think that having two tight ends is going to be a problem, I'm glad it was Dave that got this, because Pinecroft is getting used a lot in that fullback slot that Dave loves so much. This is going to be a hard-nosed offense, and everybody's going to be involved. And Alex Starr is perfect for this team, having that running ability. He's just as fast as Pope, and he's got a little bit more balanced as far as his throwing is concerned. So I trust him a little bit more. Again, no bias, but having this, I'm excited to see what this team looks like on the field, and not just screenshots from Dave's computer. So I'm really excited.
Are they screenshots, or are they photos taken from his camera on his computer screen?
He has done real screenshots. So good on you, Dave.
Chad, what do you think?
I mean, first off, I'm impressed that he knows how to do a screenshot.
Yeah.
Unless he's gotten really good at covering up glare, I think it is a screenshot.
Yeah. Not with that head, he hasn't. So here's my thought on Pottsville. The interesting piece is, like I said, this is a team that is built to run the football. Dweezil Givens is going to be somebody that I think that really sticks out in this offense. Has some really good IQ. When it comes to the what I call the extracurricular moves like juking and spinning and stuff like that, he's been known to be able to do the spin cycle, for example, in a dryer. But the interesting piece is going to be with these two tight ends, right, and how they are able to be utilized. And as Noah mentioned, I mean, Pinecroft has been linked to being the starting fullback for this offense, and so you think in that situation, it's going to be kind of like a run-first offense. The question, again, as I will bring up with a lot of these teams, is going to be the front seven. We could talk about offense all day long, but that front seven is a little thin, right? I mean, you got Larry Barr, who's coming in there, has some good acceleration, has some good defensive IQ as well there in the defensive end spot. Tubby Raymond is somebody that's really strong, along with T-Rex Ryan as a defensive tackle. So Those three I think could be guys that really could help this defense. But at the same time, it's like, okay, hopefully that defense can hold, because there's a lot of offenses in this league that are going to be built to run the football, and they got good running backs. And so that front seven is going to be tested. Would have loved to see maybe somebody at the linebacker position, but it is what it is. So I think Pottsville's still going to be a good team. They're always, as Derek said, they're always going to be competitive. And so we'll see how that all plays out for them this season.
I think Noah said it, that if one team's going to get 2 tight ends, it needs to be Pottsville. So yeah. I completely agree. Dave likes to run the ball. He loves the idea of trying to run all over teams. But the question is going to be, are we finally going to have a game that's going to allow that? We've seen lots of games that we've used that it is hard to be productive without passing. So we'll see how that goes. With all that being said, I gave away a lot of over 500 last week, and the Maroons are going to be one of my unders for this week. Under 500 for the Maroons.
Okay.
Chad?
That's interesting. Like I said, man, a lot of this depends on, if the power run game will work for them, right? Because, let's just face it, that's what they're going to try to do, right? They're going to be a run first, pass later. And Alex Dar can be a guy that we got to forget, too. You got Dwizzle Givens back there. You got Pinecroft, who may be able to run. But then you also got Dar, who's got some top-end speed. So, depending on how they utilize the quarterback position in that situation, could be interesting. I wish that I could almost say they'll be right at 500. Like, that's kind of my prediction for them. Like, I don't see them going under.
That means it's a good line, Chad.
I don't see them going over. I see them right there, right at 500.
Okay.
That's what I see. And that's a tough division, too. That's a tough division.
Noah?
I feel like I would be betraying Dave's trust if I didn't say over. Gun to my head, have to say over. This is going to be a really, really fun offense. And the defense, the concern is there is some points in this defense, so I'm not as worried about it. But yeah. I do think that this is going to be a team that you have to game plan for. And I wonder if the season, as the season progresses, our people are going to be able to figure them out quick enough. Are they going to be able to have enough players to be put in the box to deal with it? And then once that happens, does Dave then figure out a way to get more speed involved? Like having Quick Six on this team, another guy that is very fast, Kane Roush, another guy who's very fast. Like these are going to be players that you're going to use from time to time, probably not as much as other teams would, but having those options available, that's all another thing that you can then pivot towards. So I will say over, fingers crossed.
Okay. And Derek.
I'm going to show respect, and I will say over. But that's after an early season loss to start it all out. Then he figures some things out and squeaks out a few wins to just get maybe the game over 500. But yeah, you got to take your lumps first, and then maybe he goes back to the drawing board.
Good. All right, well, we don't need to spin for the last one. This is last but certainly not least, as many of us would agree, Scotland Legends. I don't have their updated logo. Shame on me. I'm sure I'm going to hear that in the chat in just a minute. Scotland Legends, arguably the best performer in the draft. Let me tell you a little bit about them while you guys prepare your thoughts. User quarterback Hugh Janus, still approved in the game, Chad?
Still approved.
Go figure.
Ridiculous. I am outraged.
We have running back Nolan Pierce. We have 2 user wide receivers in Emmanuel Lundquist and Kebus Pipe. We have corner Jimmy Foster II, safety Ty Tack, and two-way player corner and wide receiver Jake Molyneux.
I guess I'll start because I haven't gotten to start yet. Again, I've been talking about it for weeks now at this point. This is going to be the team that has the biggest advantage going into the season. They are going to have the best defensive secondary. They are also going to have 2 user wide receivers. And we have the knowledge that no one's really going to be able to defend that as well as the Legends could. So it's going to be something that's going to be very difficult to defend against. I think it comes down to the quarterback. Like when you look at Hugh Janus, is he going to be a guy that's going to be a difference maker, or is he going to be relying on his weapons to do the work for him? And I think, like, again, this is a guy that's coming out of prison, for God's sake. How much are you really going to get from him? But I do think that if he steps up to the plate, there is no limit to where the Legends can be. And hey, they have Hilton Kilchuck on the roster, so maybe there's a hope if you need a backup quarterback that we can have that as a little option there. But there's a lot of good players on this team. Bringing in some Legends. LaQuendrez Friedman is here. Kingston Simpson is here on the defense. Dave Willingham, we saw that news come out recently. That is probably the biggest name in the league. Will he play like he should? Who knows? But there's a lot of really talented players on this squad. So I am definitely, if I am any team on the Legends schedule, I'm shaking in my boots a little bit.
That's fair. Derek, I'll let you go next.
Absolutely. I think, and we all talked about it in episodes past, and it's been the talking point since the draft. That user secondary with that much points and attention put to it is going to make them a challenge for anyone to go up against. It's going to have to be something that people game plan around that maybe they don't game plan around as much as like when they face other teams. I will say, I know running back Nolan Pierce has attempted to revive his career in this league and on this team. Not so much a reliable running back as I've seen in the past. Could be a weak point. I mean, running back's not meant for everyone, so we'll see how he does. But no, I think they're going to be a very competitive team.
And Chad.
Well, let me go opposite of what Derek said, because this is a team that I face in week 1 that I've scouted and I've watched. And let me tell you about this guy named Nolan Pierce. This dude is somebody that can be a serious, in my mind, and you can make this a bold statement if you want down the road, but this is a serious contender for Player of the Year.
Wow.
I'm not going to lie to you. The way that Nolan Pierce runs the football, with given an opportunity, is something just to watch, right? And the thing, and Hugh Janus is somebody that could really run too. I mean, if with Hugh Janus, he just needs a big hole. Sorry, I had to throw that out there.
Yeah.
You're taking away Dave's commentary lines. Come on. What's he going to use now? He's going to go back to the cheerleader bit.
He's got to go back to the cheerleader. But no, I mean, I'm telling you, Nolan is somebody that I feel like is going to be a very good player. Top end speed, top end acceleration, right? Top end break tackle. That is something that is going to be huge with these running backs this season. I feel like he is one of the best built running backs in this league. And take it from the guy who has entered all this into the rosters. This guy's legit. And I feel like that is where the offense flows. I think if you can get the combo of Hugh Janus along with Nolan Pierce moving, this team is legit threat. And like I said, in the Sims, I've seen it. They look fantastic. Hopefully not in week 1 against me, but it is what it is. So looking forward to seeing how this team turns out, because I think they did a really good job, especially in the draft.
Yep. So let's clear the air here and say that we know that Nolan Pierce typically leans towards strong power back type builds, which is not what he did this time around. So that could be the pivot point for this team. This could be the difference maker for the Scotland Legends. This build is fast and agile and has an immense amount of break tackle ability. But with that being said, I also agree it's going to depend on how huge Janus can play. Am I right? And with 2 user wide receivers maxed out with speed, Scotland Legends are at the top of my list. So it's an easy over 500 for me. We're going to circle around, but I'm going to imagine it's the same for the rest of y'all. Chad.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it just depends on. I can't type on my phone either. It just depends on what like I said, what the combination of Anus or Janus and Pierce does, right?
The anus.
Yeah. Here, I mean, the team. I mean, can I just come up with a team name now? The Pierce Anus, right? Like the combination there of Pierce and Anus. So, yeah, I feel like if they can just do what they do and what I've seen in the Sims, then this team is, I feel like, one of, if not the best teams in the league. So over for me by a mile.
Yeah, this is one of the contenders. It's been something that's been throughout. Even the AI agrees the Legend is going to be very difficult to stop. This is not only a very talented team, but championship culture. There's a bunch of people who have been either in that conversation or have won that championship. Some people, and not to mention, this is going to be a very good offensive line as well, headlined by the former all-world player Tuan Daly at left tackle. This is going to be a team that's going to be able to protect their quarterback. All the pieces are around him. That is the one thing that and maybe it's like, again, where he is right now is not going to say what his career is looking like. We just have to look at what he is right now. And right now, he's decent to pretty good at a couple things. And that is, some players are going to outperform him. So can he step up? Is he enough to get this team to where they're looking to go? I'm going to say he is. I'm going to say over. But if I'm going to have concerns if after a week or two, it's not all together.
And Derek.
Yep, I'm going over like the rest of them. I think everyone's kind of laid it out, so I'll save everyone time from just repeating what was said. They've got a lot of experience on the team and the ownership and the coaching staff. They've got a lot of pieces and a lot of players. It's going to be over. It might rain a lot in Scotland, but I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be too many dreary days for the Legends.
I like that. All right, we're going to tumble on to our next segment, which will be led by Chad. We're going to call this one Bold Predictions.
Yeah. So, man, I get to host this time? This is weird.
You're in charge.
I am in charge, man. You have to click the buttons as I go. So, all right. So what we're going to do here is, this is the bold predictions. We're going to bring up each game. And then from there, everybody on the panel is going to give their thoughts about the game. And if they want to add in a bold prediction for the season, right? So what I would love to hear from you guys is a bold prediction for the game that we're talking about. And then when you're talking, I want to hear what your bold prediction is for the season. It may not even have to do with this game, right? Or actually, let me take this. We'll do it this way. We're going to do the game, right? We're going to talk about each game. And then at the end of that, then we'll give our one bold season prediction. All right? So that's the way we're going to do this. So let's bring up the first game. And I will say this to the audience before this all goes, that these games will be in order, right? So we're going from the first game of the week to the game of the week, which we will be announcing here in a few moments. So week 1 is going to be the newly minted Cincinnati Reapers traveling to West Virginia to take on the Wild. I'm really actually excited for this game. I think this is a great opening WFL history game here with the talent that's going to be on both sides. So because the Wild is your team, I'm going to start in the other direction downstairs with Noah in the basement down there. Noah, give me your thoughts on the Wild versus the Reapers.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting matchup. We've kind of already talked about the Reapers today and all of the firepower that they bring to the table. With West Virginia, I mean, this is the team. We've been talking, at least the Twitter has been going on a little bit about how the Wild have spent some money to bring in some really talented players onto this team. And they already did draft a lot of great players. And then there's Colin Pierce. He's also there. But this team is going to be a team that is a lot of people's favorite to be a championship contender. So I am going to take the Wild. I think that there is definitely a world where the Reapers come out and shock everybody week one, and they are just not able to keep up. The Wild, that is, are not able to keep up. I just think that there is too much talent on this team, too many players that have been there and done that, that are going to make it very difficult for a very young and a team without a leader to really take the win here. So give me the West Virginia Wild.
So Noah going to take the Wild here. Derek, you're next.
The things that I know I can count on in this game or leading up to this game is the coach of the Wild immensely trying to come at this at every angle and testing and running things over and over and over again. I can say I've been privy to how that system works, and I know the work that's being put in behind the scenes to prepare for game one. So I have no doubt that the Wild will be prepared. I think the shakeup to the system, we've talked about it. It could give them the wind in their sails to shock the world, and nothing would be bigger than taking down what many in this league consider a perennial power, even though we're just starting out. And he might not admit it, I think this is a team that heavily relies on old CP6 behind center, because I have watched that roller coaster be the brightest of bright, but also throw 6 interceptions in a game. So there's no doubt they are talent packed and will be prepared, and as prepared as they possibly could be. So I will, though I love a good underdog story, I'm going to lean the Wild.
As long as he's not playing in New Haven, he's got a chance.
Yeah, he's got a very good chance. Okay, so I will do the next part. Colin, I'll leave you last since this is your game. But for me, this is an interesting situation because I talk about the Reapers and how good they are, but this is going to be a team that is kind of doing a new identity thing. They're going to be coming out with a maybe not so much practice with the fresh new offense, right? So the Wild may not even really know exactly what they're going to run. But when you look at the Wild on the other side, we talk about CP6, but we really need to talk about OJ Alberga. OJ Alberga is a guy that I feel like is going to be one of those players just right above there with Nolan Pierce, right? I mean, when you look at the speed and the acceleration that this guy has, I mean, it is top end. This guy can fly on the football field, and the IQ up there matches with how fast he is, right? He's a smart, fast runner, and I feel like that even when you got Roosevelt on one side and Rob Hunt on the other, I feel like this offense could really flow a lot through OJ Alberga, right? And so it'll be interesting to see how they all play it out, right? And I feel like even with like defensive side, you got Ryan Hunt down there on the line. So you do have somebody at least on the front line. You got Golden Lager in the back, right? It just sounds so good. A nice Golden Lager. And so, it's every time I hear his name, I'm going to just think I'm thirsty. But, they have some pieces on the defensive side. But like I said, I feel like with this game being at home, especially as well, I feel like this is going to be West Virginia's game. So give me West Virginia. Colin, I'll let you have an opportunity to talk about this game with your team.
Sure. I don't disagree with anything that's been said so far. I think that it's spot on. I think It does all come down to CP6 and his ability to consistently provide pocket presence and good decision making. That's what it's going to come down to, at least from what I'm seeing in our practice runs. OJ is the man. OJ is hands down the best player on our team. The Jamaican from Kingston, he's got it all. He's got hands, he's got speed, he has the running IQ that you talked about. He's the man, and I expect big things from him. But on the other side of the ball, we have Ryan Hunt, who has been so selfless in his willingness to be wherever he's needed on the defensive line. At first, Ryan wanted to be a defensive end, but after discussing his build, discussing just some ways to use him on the defense, we've decided that he was much more useful as a defensive tackle. No issues whatsoever doing that, and it's made a big difference on the team. So I think from what I'm seeing with my team, we've got a lot of selfless players, which is what's needed to be successful in this league. I think Cincy's got some good motivation, but maybe a little less experienced in that category. So I am predicting a Wild win. I'm thinking 30-plus points for the Wild. I'm thinking maybe just shy of 20 for Dayton.
Man, calling at least a 2-tutty victory over here. Look at the stones on this man.
You mean Cincinnati?
Cincinnati. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to get used to it, buddy.
Yeah, I can't even call him the right name.
Can't even call him the right name.
Bulletin board material now.
Disrespectful. Well, I'll let him pass because it literally just became a thing today. So all right. So I'm writing these down as we go. So that is a clean sweep from the team going with West Virginia. All right, game 2. Now I will let you guys know that I'm still kind of thinking about how I want to do this schedule. If you want to give me your thoughts in the chat, please do that. I'm either going to do 1 game on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and the game of the week on Sunday, or we'll do 3 games on Saturday and the game of the week on Sunday. So just let me know what you guys want to hear, what you guys want to do. Maybe we can do like a Friday night fun football or whatever. I don't know, but we're still a work in progress, but just let me know what you guys think about the schedule. All right. So game number 2 is going to be Dakota traveling overseas. That's a long flight to Scotland, by the way, to take on the Legends. And since this is my game, I will go last, and I will start with Derek this time. So Derek, give us your thoughts about Dakota versus Scotland.
I think for a week 1 match, I think we're in for another classic, if we will. I think these are 2 teams that have a lot of experience in the coaching and in the ownership, and who are both putting in the work that they need to be ready and prepared for this game. It is a disadvantage to be flying to Scotland from Dakota. That is a 20-hour flight, I am sure. Let's hope the Bucks got that PJ money and we're not flying economy out there.
We only fly Spirit.
Well, they might not make it, but no, I think this is going to be a battle. I think again, there's players on both sides of this team. This I really think can be a coin flip. I am right now, only because I haven't seen the product on the field, obviously with any of these games, I'm gonna lean Legends again just because of that secondary. I think it is a unique piece they bring to the chessboard. That is going to be something to take go. So I will lean, but I'm going to call it a nail biter. I'm talking 3 points or less in this victory.
Wow.
Okay. All right, Colin.
These are 2 really good teams, 2 teams that I would consider at the top of my list as contenders for the championship. So I think we're going to get a good show in this game, in this matchup. I just really like the Legends, and I think I'm going to be on the Legends train until I'm proven wrong, because they have everything They have everything that I would want for my team. And I love my team, but they just did everything perfectly. And they've got the pieces, they've got the players, they've got the culture. Not that Dakota doesn't, but Scotland has something really special. And I'm gonna take the Legend. I do think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be within 3 points, but let's say 1 possession.
Okay. All right. Noah?
An interesting thing that I have just now really looked at, there is a distinct speed advantage with the Legends. The Bucks aren't a very fast team. Unless what I'm looking at is wrong, the Bucks aren't going to run past you. They're more likely going to run over you. But I think that could be the difference here, because Scotland, as we've said, has a lot of speed. So if they get if Jake gets out in space, because they have all of this, all of these weapons, Lundquit and Pipe, they're all going to be. You can't cover all of them, and great defense is only going to be able to do so much against 3 of the fastest guys in the league. And then Nolan Pierce is also on the team, making speed. I think Scotland has a great advantage from that perspective, and I think that they do enough on the rest of the field to make up for any holes that putting all these points into speed gives them. So I think Scotland should take this one again. Janus is the only question mark with this team, but he's got a lot of weapons. He's got, even in his generics, Alan Regario is there, a very classic tight end for him. So there is, and then the backup running back, I thought I would mention it now in case his name never comes up again, is Jeff Claymore, the guy that was ahead of Bradley Davis on the Clemson Tigers back in the day. Back to things that actually matter. I think that the Scotland Legends are going to take this game, and I think that they will make it a track meet. And if the Bucks can keep up with the track meet, then it'll be close. If they can't, Legends could blow them out.
Okay. So all 3 of you. All 3 of you want to pick against me.
Feel the hate fire.
You all can feel the hatred. Loathe entirely.
It's not hatred as much as it is love for the Legends.
You're right. I feel so much love. As I said, I mean, when I saw the schedule get released and I saw this as the first game, I was like, God damn it, of course. Why couldn't I get something easy? But there's not going to be an easy game in this league. And so I might as well just start with one of the best, right? And I feel like everything you guys have said about Scotland is a valid point. And I think Noah really touched on it with, the fact that Dakota is a little bit slower. But I feel like we're a team that can really truck over, right? And one of the things that we have that a lot of teams don't is, well, Scotland does a little bit to a degree, but we have probably the best offensive line in the whole WFL. There's I put a lot of stuff into that offensive line. Being able to get guys like Gibson, Rickenback, bringing back players from the old Washington Wastelander days, right? Bringing back Gibson, Rickenback, and all these other players, Jason Miller coming in at fullback as well. So, there's this offense is going to be really potent, I feel like. And the defensive side is going to be kind of the question with us. But, with Kevin Say Jr. or Kev Say Jr., I think that's somebody that's going to really be able to stand out. And Greg Ward Jr. obviously coming in as well. And don't forget about Richard Rash, okay? Richard Rash is not a two-way player like some people in Pottsville, but he can get the kicking done. Been seeing some good results with Richard Rash. So, of course, I'm going to pick my own team. I mean, come on, I have to. But it's going to be a good game regardless. I feel like it's something that I'm still shocked that it's not the game of the week. I was really thinking it probably would get picked, to be honest. But but
me too.
it's going to be a great game regardless. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's the game I picked. I'll say that.
Yep. So. All right, I didn't pick one, so it is what it is. All right, so let's move on to the third game, which once you see this graphic, then you'll know that what the game of the week will be, if you just put 2 and 2 together here. But we are going to go with the Buffalo Blizzard traveling to Pottsville to take on the Maroons. I saw a picture of Pottsville and it just looked gross, right? Like, is that what Pottsville really looks like? Like, damn, like maybe that's why Dave lives there. I don't know, but so Colin, I'm going to start with you here.
Sure.
Talk about the Blizzard traveling to Pottsville to take on the Maroons.
Yeah, so we've talked a lot about the Maroons and their two tight end set and what we expect from their offense. But as I'm looking here at Buffalo, it's been a week or two since we've talked about them. They have users, Alexander Fowler at quarterback, running back Aiden Texera. They have wide receiver Zach Holdorf, Taylor at tight end. My camera's flipped right there. And looks to be like a very well-rounded team. So that tells me that they're going to be competitive in every game. However, being the away team might be working against them, especially coming out here with the week 1 jitters. I think we're going to see a lot of teams trying some new things. Obviously, everybody's trying a new offensive scheme, new defensive scheme. Everything's new, but I think Pottsville might get a little bit of an advantage here with just the power that they're going to instill with their running system. I'm not sure that Buffalo is going to be able to hang in there. However, it's all going to come down to what Axel Raven can do as linebacker, as the captain of that defense. If the Buffalo defense can make some big stands on third down, Buffalo stands a chance. But I am going to go ahead and give my pick to the Maroons.
All right. Noah, go ahead.
I mean, I think we know who I'm going to pick. It is not the Buffalo Blizzard. The Pottsville Maroons are going to win this game. But to Colin's point, there's a lot of players that are going to be the difference here. The Blizzard are bringing in a lot of players from the Long Beach Rays, players that Forge is very familiar with, including one of the best players in the league, another player on Willingham's caliber of Anthony Winfield at safety. But I think that there is a lot that they're not going to be able to do. They're not going to be able to hold up on the defensive line. Pottsville is going to run over this team and be able to just take control. Another guy that is going to be a question mark with this team is Fowler. Like much like Janus, there's more of a jack of all trades, master of none with Alexander Fowler. And so that's going to help you long term when you're building this player. But there is going to be that season 1, like, who are you going to be off the bat? And so I think that, especially since it's week 1, you haven't figured out how to use your player to the best of his ability. I think Pottsville is going to do very well in this game, and it should be an easy pick.
Is it my turn?
Yep.
I think it's easy to know where I'm going with this one as well. I will be the lone man out here if I must be. There's something to be said about balance. I think as a whole, that's the word I would use to describe this team. From top to bottom, from both sides of the ball, I think there's good balance throughout. This team's ready, locked in, ready to go. As you can see me in the chat, like I said, I'm going to keep talking crap until they prove me and tell me to shut up by handing us an L. But I think we're going to go in and compete. I think the matchup of the day is our linebackers, Axel Raven being the captain back there and putting up a defensive stand against this running game. Buffalo by a billion. We're going in. We're bringing in. We're going to be bringing a blizzard to Pottsville. We're shutting down the city. It's going to be cold. So we're doing it and we're ready for it.
Nice.
All right. So where is my pen? There it is over there. So Derek, is going to take Buffalo. All right. So that leaves it to me. The interesting thing about this is that Pottsville is going to be a team that, as we've already discussed, is going to be heavily relying on that run game, right? But what happens when you meet a team that is built to possibly stop the run, right? So when you look at the defensive line for the Blizzard, right? I mean, there are some strong guys on there. They're able to do some good things. They all got pretty, some almost a little bit close to average IQ, maybe just a little bit above. They've got some points in there, but really it's going to be about Axel Raven. And also, by the way, they also have Stephon Forge. This is one of the teams that actually has 2 linebackers, right? So the question is with 2 good, very good linebackers, can you stop that run? And it's going to be interesting to see. That's the main matchup, right? Is the linebackers in the front 7 taking on this Pottsville offense. And if that offensive line can't hold, I feel like Buffalo could really take advantage. Now, the question will be also, can that offense for Buffalo actually work, with Fowler in there, quarterback? You got Aiden Teixeira, Lance Washington, a guy that has seen some play right back in the day. Zach Holdorf is somebody that is not really a top-end speed guy, but is really good with, being able to jump out of the building a little bit. Randy Marsh is a tight end for them that could do some damage along with Leland Taylor. I want to do something a little different here because everybody has really been kind of going with the home team except for Derek on this one. So I'm going to go with the shocker, the Buffalo Blizzard, beating up on Pottsville. And I think
Shock the world.
I think it's a 2-score game.
Ooh.
Wow.
I think it's a 2-score game. So, and I'm even going to write that down. And if I'm
Going
right,
to show why they leave that offense in the past.
Yep,
So,
there you go. So, but that's what it is. So I am going to go with the Blizzard. I feel like it's just going to be a good game as well. And so now we have finally got to the last game. This game will be on Sunday. We just don't know the time yet. We got to work with the broadcasting crew and see exactly how it's going to work. Probably will be in the evening, but this is the World's Game of the Week. The Michigan Marauders travel to Munich. They got the same kind of situation I do to take on the Metalheads in the Game of the Week. This one actually should be a pretty decent one as well, but let's talk about it. Noah, lead us off. What do you think about Munich versus Michigan?
2 teams that we haven't gotten to focus on today, but we have focused on in the past. And it should be a very interesting game. Looking at what Munich has been able to do with the team, putting it together, I'm really, really impressed, as always, even though a lot of their guys, I don't understand Top's tactics of making people change their name to be a better part of the team. I don't get it. I just report the news. But having guys on this team in a variety of different places should be. I think that this team should do well. On the other side of the ball, we've all talked about Michigan and what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And I think it definitely comes down to their star players. There's no question about that. Millen Tells and Nahir Felicia, those are the people that you're relying on. If they come out and they are superstar level players, then great. You got a chance in this game, and you'll be able to pull everybody else around. Also, Johnny Venaro as well, another superstar player, but he's going to be great. I have no question about that. But if those two from Ireland come out and they're learning the game, and that's what it looks like on the field, they don't really have a shot because you need those guys to perform. You need them to perform. And so I think that there's a lot more question marks around the Marauders. They've done the best with what they got again, but I do think that it's going to be very difficult to overcome what what the Munich Metalheads have put together. Devontae Moore, I think, is going to be a very, very good quarterback. He doesn't have any scrambling in his game, but I think that he'll be just fine without it, and that will make him even more of a threat because he put all his points into passing, so he's going to be one of the best passers in the game. So he's going to be somebody to watch out for. And yeah, give me the metalheads.
All right, so he is going to take Munich. All right, Derek, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game of the week. I mean, honestly, as far as, just overall team logos and look, two of my top logo, I just like the looks of them both. From just it's just fun. But I know in the initial pre-draft show or post-draft show, I'm sorry, we did have a lot of question marks about Michigan. And I think, and for me personally, they're one of the teams that I have more questions than answers about. That travel, much like for Dakota, it's going to be tough. Let's hope they get a better stint than Spirit Airlines to cross the ocean with, because that's going to be tough going. But I think I like the squad that the Metalheads put on, and I think they're going to make it a mosh pit over there in Munich. They're gonna be ready to play. They're going to be brutal, and it's gonna be a fight. So I'm leaning Metalheads.
All right, so Metalheads for Derek. Colin?
Both these teams match up really nicely as far as what they have with their strengths and their weaknesses. They're very similar teams in that category. Both have user quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. Both have linebackers with users. Both have a secondary player with users. So it's really kind of similar builds that we're looking at. But I think Munich is more hungry than Michigan is coming out the gate. I know that they have really been digging their heels in, working on their practice runs, figuring out what playbooks work best for their players, and I think that that's going to give them the edge. So give me Munich with the dub week 1.
All right, so yeah, and the thing is like I said, I mean, number one, Munich, I feel like has they're going to look good. They got some great uniforms. They actually used a face mask that nobody else used in the league. So I'm really excited to see how that looks on them and see that in game. But uniforms aside, this team's just well built. Right. I mean, when you look at Munich and how they are, I mean, Devontae Moore is one of the best passing quarterbacks in this league. I feel like that's where it goes to, right? But the problem I feel like it is that you've got one guy in Robert Thump, right? I mean, you do have the Snaggets, right? Diddy Snaggett Sr., Diddy Snaggett Jr. In there at wide receiver, but I mean, they got some decent speed and stuff, but Robert Thump is probably their number one target, and that'll be the question, right? Can they get, Robert Thump going? I was hoping that they would at least get another wide receiver, maybe even a tight end, to kind of help get him some better weapons a little bit. But them other weapons are gonna have to step up, right? Because defenses will probably focal point on Robert Thump. And, I mean, you got Kevin Say, so he can come out of the backfield and probably make some catches and stuff. But, with Devontae Moore, I wonder if they're kind of wasting that arm, right? With the way they're built. I know a lot of people talk about how good they are, but I'm a little worried about it. So, but looking on the other side, this is a team that, with Scott Stover in there on the defensive line, I feel like that's a really good build there. Chris Britton in a middle linebacker, that's a really good build as well. You got star players at each level of the defense. I feel like they're just going to do a great job. Michigan, they got some work to do. I feel like they're just kind of in my mind, I feel like they're at the bottom of the barrel a little bit. And I know that this is a team that can build and will, but for right now, I feel like that this is too far of a travel for Michigan, and I feel like they're just going to come out flat. Give me Munich as well. So that's going to be a sweep there for the Metalheads. And then the final thing we want to do is everybody is going to give a bold prediction for the season. If it's about a team, if it's about a certain player, if it's wondering how many, how many bad references Dave does on an announcement. I mean, whatever you feel like you think is a bold prediction, a bold move, Cotton, if you will, for the WFL this season. Colin, because I know yours is going to be good probably. I want to start with you first.
Yeah, let me go ahead and go. Let me ask you, we're running a 10-week season?
That is correct.
Okay. Give me... I don't know about that. Okay. give me... gosh. Okay, we'll play it safe. Over 1,500 rushing yards for OJ Alberga for the season.
Ooh. Wow. Go into details on that.
I was wanting to go 2,000, but that's 200 a game. I think that's a little far fetched.
That's rich.
Give me 1,500.
Is that rushing or all purpose?
Rushing.
Rushing, man. Wow. I knew you were going to come out on fire. I knew that was going to come out the gate. All right. Derek.
I have a clarifying question because I may have missed this. This may have been discussed. How are playoffs being decided? Is it just like top? How many teams are this getting taken? Has that been decided?
Top of your head, Chad,
it's top 4, wasn't it?
Top 4.
I think.
I assume it'd probably be top half of it.
Let me just
I'm
clarify.
pretty sure it's top 4.
I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, let's verify, but I'm pretty positive it was top 4.
I'll tell you here in just a second. Playoffs.
Yeah, it should be the top 4. And then I thought, well, we talked about having the top 4 and then the bottom 4 playing for the number 1 pick, but
yeah, 4 teams.
Makes sense.
Single elimination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, single elimination, 4 teams. All right, go ahead.
Toilet bowl tournament? Come on.
That's a thought. We didn't.
You know what? Just because it's kind of been the theme of the day, and I'm trying not to bet on my own team and try to show some love to the rest of the teams and not be super biased. You know what? I love an underdog story. So Reapers make the playoffs.
Ooh, okay.
I like that. That's a good one.
Cincy makes the playoffs. Okay. Noah?
Okay, so I've been trying to rack my brain of what I could say to be a little bit interesting. And mine's really only for the first week, but I could see it being something that continues throughout the season. It is very bold, but I think the best thing about bold predictions is a lot of people think they're going to be wrong, and so when it happens, you look like a genius. So I'm going to take my shot. No quarterback in week 1 will throw for over 250 yards.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think that there's definitely some quarterbacks that are going to they have the weapons and they're not going against the best defenses, but I think that it depends. I think that the running game is going to be very strong for a lot of teams, and I think that that's going to be even the teams that are going to want to focus on throwing the ball are going to end up running a lot more than you expect. So I'm going to go with nobody over 250.
Nobody over 250. Okay. All right. So far, just recapping, we've got 1,500 rushing yards for OJ Alberga. We got Cincinnati making the playoffs, and we got no quarterback going over 250 in the first week. I love them. I love those all. I want people to think I'm crazy. I want people to go back and watch this episode and go, what a moron. Like, what did he do? Right? But if it pays out, then I want people groveling at my feet. Right? So here's my bold prediction. This is going to make somebody laugh, and I know that who that person exactly is going to be. The 8th team, the team that will finish 8th after week 10 is the Pottsville Maroons.
Oh man,
those are fighting words.
Is the Pottsville Maroons. I don't even have to explain why. I just feel like if there's a bold prediction to be made, and if it pans out, I look like a genius. But
I will say I remember day one of the original Pottsville Maroons, and like a couple days before, there was like, oh yeah, I ran a game and we scored 73 or whatever, and then just get immediately demolished by the Berserkers week one. It's a new game. I'm a little
There you go.
nervous.
Yep, it's a new game, a little bit of nervous, but yes, that is my bold prediction.
Okay.
8th place for the Pottsville Maroons, and I will say that it's a bold prediction. I will say that in the server tonight, once we get done, I will type these up and do it. I think what would be cool. I was going to bring this up, but we could talk about it right now. Is whoever comes on here and does a show each week, if we do like a pick'em thing and have a record of stuff and see who wins. So I'm going to record these for everybody and then keep track of that as well. So, because I know Colin and Derek are the mainstays along with Noah, I think, right? But whoever like does my spot or whatever, for example, they could be like the fourth wheel or something. So we'll see. But anyway,
Cool.
all right. So there you go.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Chad. Let's switch back to the main page here. We're going to go ahead and forego the mailbag for this week. We're running well over an hour right now, and we still got a couple things to take care of. I did check the mailbag before we got on here. There's nothing relevant to this week, so it's not going to hurt us to wait until next episode to go through the mailbag. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that link that Chad posted this week for our mailbag suggestions or questions that you have for us during the show. We'd love to look through those and pull a couple out, talk about them. So, but we won't be doing that today. Instead, we're going to be doing some power rankings. And Noah, why don't you explain the way that we are doing these power rankings while I try to set this up?
Cool. So what we did earlier today was I asked all of these gentlemen to please give me their top 8 power rankings. And I went through, and once I collected all the data, went ahead and put points for each one. So if one of our lovely panelists rated a team as number 1, they got 8 points. Whoever was the lowest, number 8, got 1 point, and you can figure out the math in between. And then I smushed them all together and averaged them out, and this is how we got the official to the max power rankings. And hopefully, if things stay the way that they should, we'll be able to do this again every week with new panelists, new thoughts, and see how things go week to week.
Yep. Very good. Thank you.
See 'em.
So we're going to start from the bottom. And starting at the bottom, we've got our number 8 seed, Michigan Marauders. Guys, I feel like this has been a group synopsis as a thought, and it's no harm intended. It's just I think we all just feel like they're just missing something, right?
Yep.
They're just missing something, and maybe they're gonna have it. And maybe next week they jump up 3 or 4 spots or more. But for now, we all kind of agree they're missing something. Anybody have anything to say about Michigan?
I mean, just to give away the numbers, we all put them at 8. So they did not score very well in our polling. But again, there's only 8 teams. If there were more teams, this team would have a better shot, because they do have a lot of great players. They have some great users on the team, people that like I haven't even really known before this, and they're already making an impact. Like we had Millen on the show last week, and it's been really nice getting to know these folks. So I'm rooting for them as the unbiased observer that I am. I'm rooting for you guys, and I think that I'm going to love watching this team and watching the game of the week. But you just don't have it right now, and unless you are able to rely on the stars a lot more than you should, you're just not there yet.
All I would add is you can only go up from here. So
Millen is mad in the chat, guys. She is mad. So
Hey, I mean, if they come out and if they beat Munich, on the game of the week and in the primetime spotlight, I mean, that only just makes them go higher,
That's right.
So,
All right, let's go ahead and reveal our number 7 seed. We have the Cincinnati Reapers. So just chime in as you want.
yeah, this is a team that like I said, they have a lot of talent. They really do. I mean, when you got the number 1 overall pick, and you got the players that they have, I mean, this is a team that, the only reason I think they're at the bottom is just because of the new direction that they're going, right? Let's see how it all comes together, right? Because there was probably a game plan, and then now that game plan is scratched. So they got to be able to come together. Let's see if it sticks together, and that's probably why they're at the bottom.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. I wonder where they would have been if we had done this poll even one day ago. But here they are, and another underdog story, and that's what we're looking for. We love having the story. We love having a thing that you're looking forward to and something that you're watching the game for. This isn't just a logo now. This is a story. This is something that we're following, and I'm very excited to see what they do. But for now, again, you're an underdog for a reason. We don't expect a lot out of you anymore. So good luck to you, but we'll see what happens.
I agree with what they said.
Okay.
Shock the world.
All right, number 6, we have your Pottsville Maroons. Derek, I'm going to let you talk first.
Seems about right to me.
Everybody's hating on Pottsville. I don't know if Dave's going to watch this, but man, he is going to feel
He's going to
the
be
love.
mad, dude.
Yeah.
He will say some shit in the Emperor's channel.
Maybe this is Dave's time to make us eat our words, but I just don't see the strategy playing out yet. We'll have to see.
Again, yeah, he could. There's no doubt that the Pottsville has the experience and good players, quality players. Part of it's due to bias that I put him this low, but also again, strong running games can work, but they can also be stopped. So we're going to see where it goes.
I mean, that's the question, right? I mean, if you stop that run game, and they're built to be a power run team, can they, if they're down 14 points, do they have enough firepower to get back into it? That's the question. And I don't know if they do.
Right. Noah, what do you think about your team being ranked 6th?
I mean, it's unfortunate. I think that we are well better than this, but it's going to be proving it on the field. I think a lot of the question marks around this team are, it looks great on paper. What does it look like in practice? And even more, what does it look like in practice versus what's on the field? And I think that I'm very optimistic based on what I've been seeing so far. But again, it's in a world of our own. We're in our own little bubble, and taking us out into the big stage is where we're really going to find out what the Maroons are made of. And I'm hopeful, but this does feel like a good place to start. I hope that they rise up from here, but this feels like a good place to start.
Okay. Rounding out the bottom half of our rankings is the Buffalo Blizzard. Oh, hold please. I'll get there.
There you go.
Sorry, I right-clicked while I was dragging, and I had a couple things pop up. But, Chad, what do you think about Buffalo?
I mean, I feel like Buffalo is a team that, I mean, they're right at the middle for a reason, right? I feel like that they could really be that team that's like, oh, they're not that good. Or they could really be like, oh, shit, like here we are, they've got 6 wins. That you just don't know, right? A lot of question marks is going to come in there with Buffalo. We talked about it already, but I feel like if the defense and that front 7 is where they're going to win their games, right? Axel Raven, Stephon Forge, how do they use those 2 really good linebackers, right? Do they send some blitzes? Do they keep them back? Are they good at coverage? We'll find out, but a lot of questions going to be with that defense. And then Fowler, obviously leading the charge there, quarterback. Can he do it? There's a lot of people that aren't talking about Fowler enough, and he needs to put it out there, and then maybe we will start talking about him a little bit.
Yeah, Fowler was the only quarterback that I didn't hear from. So there is a lot of that, like, who is this? Who are you? What are you doing? Hey, buddy, if you want, we can still do prospect. Send me some stuff.
Yeah.
We'll do it. It's fine. But like, yeah, there's a lot of those question marks. They're here because somebody on the panel put them really low. And some people put, I don't know who wants to say what, but some people had this is a team that's bumped around a lot between our people. I think it's the most team with a lot of
variability. Yeah.
So I think that a lot of question marks are here, and it's how much does each point worth? Something I was really curious about with Dave is what is the difference between a 70 and an 80? How much do you see it on the field? So if something like Buffalo, where they're going up a little by little, how much is 75 versus 70? How much is that worth? Because if it's worth a lot, Buffalo is going to do really well. I'll say it that way.
And I'll add to this is I don't hate this placement because, again, I told you when we talked about it earlier, balance is how I describe this team. I think it is. So to see us kind of in the middle, maybe not top four, there's no real middle, but it's in the middle. I think we're a little off top four, not top of the bottom, right dead set in the middle. Zen, baby. We're feeling good. So I think we're all right.
Buffalo just trying to find their place in the WFL.
There you go.
Buffalo by a billion. Living by it.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about our number 4. It's going to be the Munich Metalheads.
Yeah, that's what I feel like too. I mean, you got as I mentioned, you got Devontae Moore, one of the best throwing quarterbacks probably in this league, and then when you got, like I said, the question is, can those weapons step up? Right? You got Robert Thump, and really that's it. I mean, are the Snaggets actually going to snag it? That's the question.
Don't disrespect the tight end, Van Halen.
True, I can't disrespect Van Halen. That is right. I did forget that Van Halen is there, so let me give that a little credit there to Van Halen. My apologies, they're top, but and tight ends can get some love in this league. So that's the question, right? Can those? I mean, the Snaggets are an interesting combo, but can the weapons around more work? I mean, that's what we got to see. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, this is going to be the most of the unproven owners, so to speak. I mean, who the top 3 are. So this is going to be the one that's can you push beyond and become one of the people that we're oh, you're facing top this week? Oh, you're screwed. That's what I'm really interested to see if Munich will be able to do. They've put a good team around Devontae Moore. We didn't get to it, but one of my other bold predictions was Devontae Moore for MVP. This is going to be something that a good team that I would be worried about. And if he puts it all together, that's going to be a dangerous team to look at.
And I'll play off exactly. I think they definitely have an ability, the pieces in place to be a top team. Kind of like Chad said, though, with a limited number of weapons, can they figure out how to best utilize this team and make them the best possible? Because it could drop them, but again, I think they have the pieces and the look to be on the cusp of the top of the league.
Yep, I see the Metalheads as a breakthrough team, so I think this is a good spot for them as well. Number 3, hitting our top 3, is Scotland Legends, which I'm very surprised by. I'm going to talk first here. Scotland was a team that I feel like we have all agreed that we think has done it all right. And as far as I'm concerned, don't see a reason why they shouldn't be number 1. But when we put our things together, they have taken the 3rd spot. So I think that they are underrated at this spot. However, you can't complain with top 3.
Again, it's one person's fault. I'll leave that person to say who they are. But again, Scotland, I've said so much about them, I won't go over it again. This is going to be a very, very scary team, and I'm very excited to see what they do on the field.
Yeah, I can jump in next. I'll throw my piece. That was my number one pick. This is my top team. Again, I like what I saw. Again, I love the Blizzard, but this team has I think the draft is what sold me deep diving into that draft class and how they did it. Colin has put it on there. It was almost a master class of what you needed to make it work, and I think they have a lot of good pieces in the right places.
Okay. All right. The number 2 team, Dakota Bucks.
You got the 2 and 3 matching up week 1. This is gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
You got, we got 2 forest type creatures bouncing out, but I think it's gonna show. I think this game is the game that's gonna be like I won't say not thermostat, but like the measuring stick to the validity of our power rankings here, because you're going to be able to tell real quickly in this game if these 2, like we believe they are 2 of the top in the league. That I think this is we're putting the best on display in a head-to-head week 1. So I like it.
Yeah, I think that I know that Chad is really excited to prove himself against some of these really tough owners, people who have done it before, and he's going to do it again right now. And this is a very good team. No denying that. Very excited to see Mac Gemma. We haven't really said his name much today, but I'm excited to see what he does on the field, and all the rest of the natives of the wastelands of Dakota. So excited to see what they bring.
The wastelands of Dakota. Yeah, I mean I'm honored to be number 2 in the rankings, and and it is I enjoy it, but it's tough. You gotta, obviously, if you're more towards the top, you got a bigger target in your back. So but the Bucks are ready for it, and we can hear very well in the woods. So if you try to creep around, we can run off. So but we also like to run out in front of cars, so I don't know which way we want to go here. So,
Yeah, will the Bucks have a deer in the headlight look on week 1?
ooh, that was a good way to put it. Oh, nice.
We'll have to see. But topping the charts in the power rankings, which I am not excited to talk about, is the West Virginia Wild.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start this one. For one, funny the chat's yelling out to maybe a little rigged with 2 Emperor-owned teams atop the list, but I think it just speaks to the quality we have. I mean, I put them high on my list. I think they're a very talented team. They have assembled a cast of major talent. But the way I'm going to look at this, and the reason I put him so high, is who's captaining that, who's leading that ship, who's driving the boat. Because I know the work ethic and intensity and competitiveness that the owner and head coach have, and who's probably done more tests and runs than probably anyone else up to this point. So I think alone that head coach is going to make sure his team's in the right position.
From the day that I met you, Colin, I knew that you were a competitive this guy does not back down to anything, and especially in a league where we don't exactly know what's going on. We don't have the full picture of what's going to make a winning team. Colin is the person that's going to work the hardest to get the team that's going to win. And so it's a safe bet to put him number 1, and it's everybody else behind. Even with Colin Pierce at quarterback, it doesn't matter. This is a team that it's hard to look past, and it's been the story all off season. They spent the most money. They spent everything. They have the talented players. It's time to see it on the field.
Yeah, so I won't kiss your ass as much as these two, but like, so I mean, really, I mean, West Virginia is that team when you look at them up and down. I mean, they're just well built, and there's a reason they're number one. It has nothing to do with the count. It's not erroneous or anything like that, right? We're not going off about that deep end, but they're just well built. And you got some quality guys, Ryan Roosevelt, Rob Hunt. I mean, those are two guys that I've personally shared a locker room with in different aspects, and along with Colin as well. And they're just great guys, and so West Virginia definitely deserving at the number one spot.
There's a lot of unknowns with this game. It's been said a million times.
Yes.
Anything can happen in season one, but I like to win. I like to keep things. I like to plan for the future. So I know that at least with the group of guys that I have selected, that they will be in it for the long haul, which I think will be an exponential advantage as we progress through the seasons with our point values and things like that. So, but I do like to win, and I'm trying to win. So this is
get a life, bro.
I know. But I'm going to try to win this thing. So being at the top, there's a lot of pressure on your shoulders, but everybody wants you to knock down. We'll see how week one goes though against Cincy.
I will say this man is a determined guy to win. From what I had heard, the rumors turning down a tandem bath. I mean, you can't do that, right? So
after you have two kids, you can.
Yeah, true.
All right. Well, let's have a little bit of fun. Let's have a little bit of fun here with with Noah's super awesome and exciting prospect pop quiz. Let me just debrief the rules here real quick. This is our final segment. Noah's going to ask a question. We're going to answer. We're going to play to 3 points. If two of us or more get to 3 points at the same time, there will be a sudden death round until there is deemed a winner. It's all yours.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't have a infinite amount of questions this time, so I hope y'all know the answers. But I'm gonna have to do some more homework on the spot. But let's start with one that you should be able to get. This was a pretty big talking point throughout the draft process. Which player from Virginia Tech surprised everyone with a 4.3 40-yard dash? Which player from Virginia
Tech I have forgotten in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Which player from Virginia Tech surprised everyone with a 4.3 40-yard dash?
Who went to Virginia Tech?
This is terrible.
You guys are doing great. I thought you had this one.
I thought.
All right.
Is this the easiest one?
Yep.
Okay. We might have to just get to 1 point.
Play till I run out of questions. All right. I think I've given you enough time to think. Does everybody have something that they can say? Okay, we're going to go to Chad first. New on the block. Did his audio cut out for you guys or just me?
I don't hear him. I was worried
It's me. Sorry. I muted because I was talking to the dog.
You get the dog giving you some answers?
I'm trying. Bear, who are you picking? Right. He told me. So I'm gonna go with OJ Alberta. Well, no, he's not. No, he's Jamaican. Give me. You know what? Give me. This is a shot in the dark. Give me Andre Pope.
All right, Colin.
Give me Andre Pope.
And for me, I also was leaning Andre Pope simply for the fact of, as we talked about him today, being either the probably one of the top 2 to 3 fastest people in the league. 4.3 seems pretty fast to me, so I'm going Andre Pope.
There you go.
Andre Pope is the correct answer.
Good job, Bear.
Well done.
Man.
4-3 from the quarterback position. Pretty fast.
That's pretty fast.
All right. We saw her in the chat tonight. This is a question about Millentel's. What is Millentel's colorful nickname?
Oh, hell.
Oh, God.
Colin's got it. Trying to tie up the score. Give you guys a couple seconds to think about it. Don't give it away if you're still here. If
answer is I have no friggin' clue.
If Aussie time hasn't caught up with you.
I don't even know.
What is Millentel's colorful nickname? There's a hint in there. There's a hint.
All right. I think I'll come up with something.
All right. Derek, you have something?
Something that's completely incorrect, and I apologize.
Mine's not correct
Apologize
either.
ahead of time. But I'm purely playing that she's from Australia, so I'm going to go Thunder from Down Under. So-
Okay. All right.
I don't have one. I'm lost.
Chad, we'll go to you next.
Gee. That's a horrible nickname. Yeah.
We don't see color, okay?
That's what color is that?
That just goes negative in all different directions.
Yeah, I know it
Thunder
does.
from down
Okay.
under.
Next question.
I'm gonna go
That's a
go
terrible
with,
nickname
I'm gonna
for a
keep the
female.
Australian thing, but I'll go with the Red Dingo.
All right. That was the worst guess.
Colin.
Derek loses a point.
They are the Emerald Duo.
I saw that in chat too. Dang it.
I will give you the point. Her specifically is the Emerald Comet, but I will give you the point for
It's,
Emerald. If you
Emerald.
guys are paying attention,
Emerald.
her player is
Her
from
and
Ireland,
her-
not from Australia.
Thing,
you know.
Well, whatever. Close enough. It's kind of like horse and unicorn. Close enough.
So all of our questions have been about only prospects so far.
Okay.
But we've done a couple other articles on the website. So we'll mix those in here as well. Where is Top from?
She's from Australia.
Wait.
Like, really, where Top's from?
Yeah.
I know this. I've had a conversation with this man. I think I know this, but I'm not going to get it right.
He
I
put it
think
in
we
his
talked
owner
about it.
spotlight.
Oh,
So-
shoot.
Give you guys a couple
Do you
seconds.
want the city or do you want the state? Or both?
Just the area. Just the area, because that's what I have written down.
Oh. Oh God. Okay, I think I know what the answer is, but go ahead.
Let me think. Give me one more second. What
I
is-
should, or else I'd be terrible.
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel like he said this. Just don't go with me first. Give me a second. I'll be ready by the time you get to me.
Okay.
Come
Since
on.
you jumped in out of order, we're gonna go to Colin first.
I have a guess.
Okay. Derek.
See, I was thinking that same thing because I know he's a big Auburn fan, but I don't know if he is from that area, just likes it. I'm
Yeah.
going Tennessee.
I think he's really fond of
Okay,
Auburn,
Chad.
So for that reason,
Then you might as well just give me this point. He is
Alabama.
only 2 and some odd hours away from me in the beautiful state of Indiana.
While he may now reside in Indiana,
Oh no!
he grew up in Eastern Tennessee.
God damn,
Points on the board for Derek.
That. Oh, damn it. I was thinking where he resides. Damn
I
it.
knew he's a big Auburn fan. I think he went there, but I didn't know if he was
God
from
dang it.
Alabama.
All right.
Let's see
So
where he's from. Okay. Never mind.
Derek is in. He can win it on
Oh
this
my
one.
God, this is the greatest moment of my life because I got destroyed on the first.
Thank you, mother.
Oh,
All right.
man.
So our next question is going to come from our draft rankings article.
Dang.
Which team did the AI give the highest draft grade to? It was a draft grade of A, and you have a 1 in 8 chance of getting it.
Sorry.
But I did give it some direction as to the better team, so that you could guess my opinion to see if you know what the best draft grade was. What did Claude AI have to say about the WFL draft? And we will be going to Chad first.
This is like because we've talked about this so much and we've talked about how good of a draft they have. I mean, I'm probably just gonna pick Scotland. I remember reading it, but I just can't remember what the AI part said. So I'm gonna go Scotland.
All right, Colin.
Yep. I am also going with the Legends because I do remember. I can, because he did in fact mention it in their breakdown about
I
AI
also feel
picking
like
them
you
as
think
either
that-
one of the
I think
top
you
or
said
top
something about it in
teams.
this episode,
Oh,
that they
man.
were at the
What
top.
a
They were one of the top,
So I'm also going
but
Oh,
the
no.
AI selected the Buffalo Blizzard to have the
Let's
best.
go! I mean, I'm pumped. I'm
Oh,
sad they
come
win it
on.
here.
You're in first. You
Very
can't just take
excited.
the same
Go
thing
AI.
that we do.
All right, back to the owner spotlights. What is Logan Foster's favorite artist of all time?
Whoa. Whoa.
It was kind of a throwaway fun question that I threw at the end of the owner spotlight. I asked everybody.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
What is Logan Foster's favorite artist of all time?
Right.
A lot of different options. A lot of things to go with. Shout out to the 17 people watching, including Logan Foster.
Oh, he wants to know if we pay attention to him or not.
Nope. Sure don't.
All right. Does everybody have an answer?
Sure.
Colin, we're going to you first.
Get out of my head. I was thinking the same thing.
All right. Derek.
Sure. So if we're talking pure artist, my guess is going to be Picasso.
I don't know. So I'm
But I'm
just going
guessing
for the
we're not
laugh, so I'm
talking-
going to pick Wham.
Guessing we're not talking about that. So
All right, Chad,
I'm
what do we
going
got?
to say musical
Wham, dude,
artist.
don't ever disrespect Wham like that.
AC/DC.
You know, I feel like if I ran into if I ran into Logan on the road somewhere and he had his windows down just blaring a song, I feel like it's gonna be Yentl by Barbra Streisand. So I'm gonna go with Barbra Streisand with some Yentl.
Unfortunately, you guys all strike out again. Logan Foster's favorite artist is Prince. We were looking for Prince.
I was close. I was close. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So next up, we put up an article around the time the generics were being announced about the players that have been going through our WFA global training facility. I need you to name me 2 of the global 7 players listed in the global 7 from our global training facility.
Global 7.
I put up an article. It's the players from different countries was the idea of the article.
Okay, so they just got to be from different countries.
Yes, and they also have to be generic players.
I only remember one because I really
As in,
like the
the
name.
top
Because I
7?
was trying to get ready for this episode, but I don't remember any more of them.
Oh, I need to.
Ah,
I'm
well.
not gonna give you. I'm not. I can give you a half a point, but I don't think Colin
No,
has.
that's fine. I don't need a half point. I don't want the charity. I'm just saying I only remember one.
You need 2?
That's true.
Yikes.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yikes.
But the reason I'm doing this, like, you guys are gonna have to know this. If you're on the call, you're gonna have to know who's in our WFA global training facility.
Half a point still's not going to take him
Around the world.
Give him a half a point.
All right, Derek, we're going to you first, bud.
Can I? Well, I remember the last name. Will last name at least get it for me? Because I remember, was it Koi or Koa? Koa. It's like Kalia or something. I know he is like Pacific Islander, Hawaii, I believe, but I do not know a second one. So I'm going to give you. Let's see. Who is Ryan Reynolds? He is Canadian.
All right, Chad, give me a guess.
Oh God, man. Let me think.
You got one on. You got at least one on your team.
Yeah, I know, and I'm trying to remember the name. Sadly, the sad thing is I went through all these generics. You think I should know this? One of them was named Sandeep, right? There was a Sandeep. I think was his name, like Sharma, something like. Was it Sandeep Sharma? I'm gonna go with that. And then there was some guy that was like Macaulay. Hang on, let me remember this. I'm gonna go Sandeep Sharma and Macaulay. I think he was a wideout or a running back, but that's what I'm going with.
All right,
All I can
Colin.
think of.
This is ridiculous.
All right. I'm going to go off of Dakota's
Cheating will get you nowhere.
Nowhere. I don't even have access to this
I'm-
roster. Get out of
I'm-
here.
Chad
I'm
gets
going
the
to
point here.
say,
You did
wide
get
receiver
you did
Ruben
get 2 of them.
Quesada.
Your options
And,
were
defensive
Sandeep
tackle,
Sharma, which was
Saito
correct. Well done. He's going to be playing for the
Sayabonga.
Dayton Aviators. You have Ruben
Cincinnati.
Quesada.
Come on.
Cincinnati. Sorry. Ruben Quixada, Sifo Siabonga, and let's see. Oh yeah, Kaleo Koa was the player you were trying
got the
to get.
first name wrong, but I did
Derek?
get the last name.
They will all be playing for Dakota this coming season.
Cincinnati.
We have, let's see. I'm trying to figure out what teams they're from. But we also have Angus McCauley
what it
from
was.
Scotland. That was the one you were looking for.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 more. We have Jundi Gunagulla from Australia, coming over, the brother of, now I'm blanking on his name. Coming over from the Tarka Gunagulla, coming over from the WFA. So the brother of that player right there. And then June So is going to be a kicker coming into the league. So those were your options, people to look for, people to look out for as the season goes along. All right. So since we don't have a winner yet, we will go with what I have as my final question, and we'll see. And if there's a tie, we'll try to figure something out. But
Pressure.
name the wide receiver who came straight out of high school.
Oh boy.
Bonus points for naming the high school or the mascot of said high school.
Who was that? Oh my God! Because I remember seeing that. Because I was just like, that's so stupidly random that there was somebody that was just labeled high school. Oh God, I know who this is. It's gonna give me a minute.
I'll repeat the question. Name the player wide receiver who came straight out of high school. Bonus point for naming the high school or the mascot of said high school. So if you are able to get it and you guys are like tied up or whatever, we'll see if we can, if you can pull out the high school or the mascot of said high school, which isn't very hard. Like the mascot should be guessable.
Okay.
Well,
Count me out of this one. I'm trying to do a mic check here. Apparently my audio is really messed up, so I've been trying to get that fixed. And I also have no idea.
Colin has no idea, in case you can't hear him. I would have gone to him first, since he is, well, I guess not technically out of the running if you were able to get both. I guess we'll go to Derek first.
Derek.
I'm trying to think of all these wide receivers. I don't look at this stuff as much.
I know who it is.
We'll go. It's not that one. I don't think it's that. This is just, we'll pull out a hat. We'll go quick six from the Maroons.
Do you want to give a guess of what the high school or the high school mascot is?
We're gonna go Cougars, and I have no idea what the high school is.
Okay, Chad.
That's the name that kept floating in my head. Was Quick Six. Derek, I think you nailed it, man. I think you got
That
it.
is a pull out of nowhere. If that's
I
true.
think you got it. I think that's what it is. I think it's Quick Six. Give me Quick Six. Watch this tie. Give me Quick Six, and I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs.
It is Quick Six,
Oh, we tied it.
coming from the Buford Wolves.
Oh, well,
God.
hey, I'm
I was gonna
cool
say
with split. I'm
Bulldogs.
cool with the
All
tie.
right.
We'll get
Good
it.
job, guys.
Oh.
Wow. All right. Hey, how about instead of continuing here, because we're pushing 2 hours, let's do a rock paper scissors live.
I'm just gonna
Okay.
take this. Okay.
You got to keep your hand
Alright.
in
On
the-
shoot.
in the-
On shoot.
on shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are we doing? Rock, paper,
just best of
scissors?
one too. It's just best of one.
Colin, you count because they'll both be on
It's
delay.
gonna be it's gonna be rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Shoot.
All right.
All right.
Are you
Got
ready?
it.
All right.
Yep.
Rock,
Rock,
paper,
paper,
scissors,
scissors.
shoot.
shoot. Can't
Oh,
see what he has.
All right. Paper,
We
paper.
tied it,
Do
we
her
tied it.
again. Do her again. Okay.
I'll
Rock,
keep my hand up.
paper, scissors,
Scissors.
shoot.
Shoot.
Okay.
Let's go!
All right. Very well done, guys.
Good job, Derek.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you.
job.
I'm
That
putting it
is
on my
always-
resume.
Such a fun segment. Thank you, Noah.
Of course.
Thank you. Okay, we have a minute to finish this, under 2 hours. So let me thank everybody who spent 2 hours with us, 120 minutes. I don't know how you did it, but we are excited for
I think
the start
we'll
of
start it tomorrow.
season
I
one.
think everybody's
Chad,
waiting
does this
too
start
long.
Friday or
Let's start it
Saturday?
tomorrow. Let's start it tomorrow.
I love it. Okay, tomorrow's the big day. Chad will post a schedule at some point very soon. Don't forget to submit some questions to the mailbag. I will repost that to remind everybody as well. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will try to keep this a continual thing sometime between Thursday and Sunday in the week. But guys, thank you so much. Y'all did great.
Done.
You had lots of stuff to say. We got it all done.
Yep.
We got it all
Yeah.
done. Now the fun begins. So, all right. Well, guys, this is everybody here behind the scenes at WFL. Wishing you all